Hello, everyone, and welcome to another franchising session with FASA. Joining us today is Peter Bloem, who is the director of Bootleggers. So I just want to remind everybody, if you're out there and watching this today, please hit the like and share button. Let us know where you are. Also, share with friends and people who you feel would be interested in franchise opportunities or looking for a business investment or looking to start a bootlegger franchise. So we'll be back. I just want to give you some history and background. Peter Bloem and his best friend Deval and Anthony Basson went to school together in Franschhoek and started the Bootlegger company in 2012. The first store opened in November 2013 in Sea Point, and they have 25 branches, of which of these are corporate owned, and 13 stores are franchised, with 3 more stores opening before the end of 2020. So grab a cup of coffee, and in a moment we'll be joining Peter to discuss the franchise opportunity with Bootleg and what it's been like in 2020. Well, hello there again, and hello to everyone out there. Just to remind you to please hit the like and share button, subscribe to the YouTube channel to find out everything you need to know about franchising, franchise opportunities, and what is out there. Just to remind you that FASA is a organization that promotes and lobbies and works towards ethical franchising. So hello, Peter, and how are you today?
Remy, thank you so much. And everyone who did get a cup of coffee, I really hope you did get a coffee.
Sorry, just say that again.
If anyone went to go get a coffee during the break, I wish it was a bootlegger coffee.
Well, let's hope there's a bootlegger coffee close by. I know there's not one in my area, so it was a bit challenging to get one. So thank you for joining us. There will be soon. Oh, okay. That's good to know. So tell us, Peter, how did you get into coffee? Why coffee?
Man, I think every good story starts with a love story. So it was basically to impress a girl that I had my eye on. She was we started kind of a bit dating. She had 3 coffee shops, and she's now my wife, and we've got 2 kids. So it did work out. So I started roast coffee to supply her basically, and then it just went, all nuts from there. So the coffee roasting side of the business is basically our core, and then out of that comes the restaurant side of things. Yeah. So it was a love story.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So guys, if you need a tip, or ladies for that matter, maybe coffee is what you need to get into if you're looking for that lifelong love relationship. So why the name Bootleggers?
When Bootlegger, it was between, I think, me and Ricky and the designer, and then Olga, my current girlfriend, or my current wife, then girlfriend, Deval and Anthony. We each wrote down about 200 names of what this company should be called. I mean, we knew it needed to be a sustainable name. So we all sat around the table, we went through each name and discussed it, like, no, I don't like it, do you like it? No. So we came to the end of halfway through the night and realized we went through every single name and didn't have it. So then Brian Boonsai, the guy who designed our logo, he said, listen, let's just take 2 steps back, well, 3 steps back, because there's a bottle of whiskey. And he plonked the bottle of whiskey down in front of us and said, now we're going to need to go get a name. And let's go about this totally different. So let's not just think of a name and go, wow, that's a cool name. So tell me, do you guys, so let's treat this as a personality. So is this company, is it male or female? And we said, that's definitely male. It's, I mean, the three founders are males. It's definitely a male company. So, okay, so tell me about this male. So we're like, okay, it's probably a bit of a rule breaker, probably smoked cigarettes, and a bit of a rough boy, but was captured in his youth. So think of someone like Marilyn Monroe that was captured in the youth. So obviously she passed away young, but will be forever young. So kind of asked a bit more about that. So the look of the person, if Bootlegger was a person, would probably be someone who looked like James Dean. Maybe if you think black and white, definitely a rough boy. Definitely, as I said, broke the rules, but for the right reason. So, say for instance, someone would smack a child, then this Bootlegger will probably go and shoot him in the knee. So you'll break the rules, but for the right reasons. And when we talked about that, where does this person live? Definitely in America, late 1920s. And then someone said, "Oh, would like a bootlegger," and it was like, "Stop, that's it." And we jumped on right there and then registered the name Bootlegger, and we got it. And I had to get one signature from a company in Joburg to grant us to use it, and that was the story. So off that then is spinning everything. The design came easy because we use that as a background. The menu items use that as a background. So that's a no frills, kind of a slick, you don't really talk too much if you don't need to, kind of a cool vibe. That's pretty much it.
Bootlegger. I'm going to have to now go and find out what a bootlegger is, because I have no idea. Because he was saying, "Oh, that's a bootlegger."
It's in the 1920s prohibition period where alcohol was smuggled. So think Al Capone and those guys. So, but we just smuggling coffee, and I literally started selling coffee out of my boot. So that's also part of it.
Okay, that is interesting. Yes. So can you tell us more about your brand resilience and how you experienced 2020 and how you adapted or had to adapt the business? Because obviously you're selling coffee. I'm not sure if it was deemed an essential service at the time, although many people would say it's an absolute essential to have their daily coffee. So how did you cope in 2020?
Firstly, obviously, coffee is an essential service. I mean, really, the world would not have started again. So they should have just switched South Africa on and off to see if it works. But luckily, we had coffee for that. The resilience. I mean, our company, we all kind of go-getters in our company. No one sits still for a second, and we never stop. Well, we never come to work because we're always working. It's like holiday, you've got ideas, you take pictures, so you never stop. So for us now to be locked down in our houses was just didn't work for us. So we immediately got our certificates and started pushing the retail side of our business. There we go. Or am I back? Can you hear me? Romani, can you hear me?
Yes, we're good to go. I can hear you.
There we go. Okay, we're back. So we had to change our total business while this lockdown happened, and did really well. I must say, we delivered breads, we delivered cakes, we delivered a lot. Our retail coffee seemed to have a big spike on take a lot, and we did pies from our sister company Omeal Bakkerij that we sent all over South Africa as well. So that really worked. And then when we started opening, I mean, firstly we've opened 2 stores, so there's resilience. We're opening another 3 before end of 2020. There's resilience. And our trade like for like. So some of the stores we're not open at night, that we decided to not open again at night. Just to also give the other guys a chance. So our friends that owns a burger joint, they only sell burgers, but we sell breakfast, coffee, and burgers. So we would rather give people opportunity to get back up and start being healthy competition again. So we're down about like for like about 7% like for like on last year's trade, which is incredible. I mean, we did cut a lot of costs. We did do a lot of deals with landlords to help us. That's all going to come to an end now. So we hope trade comes back to 100%. But we resilient, absolutely. There was never a doubt in our minds that we're not going to make it, and scared that we're going to lose what we've built. And there's way more opportunities now as well. I mean, I'm super excited about the landscape currently, and I mean, people are willing to to now also, when we opened the Bree Street store, I was inundated with newspapers and landlords asking, hey, there is someone doing something. And I think us just kind of not really caring about, this whole health thing. Don't get me wrong, it's obviously a serious thing. But that momentum that we did, it sparked everyone else. So it's like, hey, it's okay to open a store. Can we also do that? And I got phone calls from all my other coffee friends that own franchises and all the other restaurants. It's like, hey, how did you do it? Was it difficult? It's like, no, it's just kind of business as usual. So more opportunities, better leases, longer term leases. Yeah. So it's for us, yeah, as I said, it's a small term risk that you take now, but it's a 10-year investment that you're looking at. So we're very bullish is the wrong word. We're super excited about the opportunities currently.
Well, that's good. It's not so much that a person doesn't care. It's about the fact that, you've got staff to consider, there's people's livelihoods to consider, it's people's mental health that one has to consider during the pandemic. So it's not about breaking the rules or just doing what you want to do. It's also about really taking into consideration things in the long-term perspective, because a lot of companies who say didn't manage to continue opening their stores or be able to adapt have had to close, which means a lot of unemployment, or they've had to retrench staff, and mental health is just as serious as any disease out there, because when you are not thinking right in your head, it can have a lot of negative impacts on any outcome. So yeah, I do get that. One has to kind of adapt, especially when you have to consider people's livelihoods. And that's something I've listened to now from many franchisors, where they've had sleepless nights trying to keep their franchisees' businesses open and the staff, because it's a big responsibility you guys have.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've downscaled the menu considerably. So we need less staff in our stores. But now, what are we going to do with our staff that's sitting at home? Guess what? Let's open stores. So by us opening stores, we brought all the people back. So there's less staff per store, but everyone has got work. I don't think we've touched wood, but I don't think we let anyone go. If we did, we are definitely planning to bring back people. So there hasn't been a slaughter of staff happening, and I must say, tours helped us a lot. Yes, we spent hours and days and years, and we had a whole team on it. Deval, he's the CA in the company, he was driving hard. His team was on it day and night, but we got the money and they paid out and it worked for us. If it wasn't for that, and the ABSA bank, the government backed loan, we would have been in trouble, but we knew what was happening because the story is playing out in front of you 3 months ahead of the time. If you look at Europe, it's like, oh, that's coming. Let's start making plans now. And people were like, how can you put people on short time for 2 months? This is only a 2-week lockdown. It's like, it's not only a 2-week lockdown. Surely you watched CNN or Sky News or whatever and see what's happening across the globe. So we have a kind of a heads up what's happening, what is going to happen in the future, and following that very closely. And I hope we are, and so is our government. So looking at what's happening there, looking at the mistakes people make and the government make and not making them. So I think our current government did a great job in not having a second wave coming. Touch wood. I hope it's not. But we are going into summer, and the figures seem to be consistently low. So it's a good thing. We are wearing our masks. We are doing our bit. So we're not as relaxed or laxy-daisy. And luckily, we didn't have to deal with a really hectic election like the US did. They kind of totally forgot about COVID because it's now election, and now the aftermath of it is devastating. So I think we're in a very good space, and I see some of it, a lot of the kite surfers and the swallows that own houses over summer during this pandemic and sitting in the UK or Europe currently. So that'll probably boost our tourism trade as well. So I think we're in a good space.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. And you know what? I mean, I was reading the other day, there was an article where the WHO organization is baffled because South Africans seems to have a resilience. And that is what we are. We always make a plan and we are tenderly, we are as a nation survivors. And so I've just noticed whenever we're faced with a challenge or a problem, we seem to always find answers and solutions. And so we also seem to be have a lot of resilience to the virus. Yeah, in our DNA. So tell us a little bit about this, about the bootlegger opportunity. What do you offer to someone who would like to buy into a bootlegger franchise?
So we started out um, with building stores for around 3 million rand, which we also saw that it was just too much. And that's another thing that helped us during this lockdown, is to change our model. So now the last store we built was 1.8 million rand. I'm not saying all stores will be 1.8. It definitely depends on site dependent, and then what the landlord gives you is the extraction. You know, how does the floors look, and what you need to change on that front. But we put on in our disclosure that there's a 3-year ROI, but we find that we've never gotten to a 3-year, so it's more towards a 2.5 year ROI, which I think is a great investment. We're looking for stores of about 80 to 150 squares, and currently we are very strong in the Cape Town area and Joburg, definitely looking for Pretoria, definitely looking for Paarl, and I'm getting a lot of queries from PE and Durban as well. We will have to go in there and kind of open 2 or 3 stores in those areas to make it worth the while, and to make sure that there's lots of op support, and that our deliveries work, and so forth.
So, what type of person suits a bootlegger franchise?
If you can run up Table Mountain with me and come down, and I still want to go and have a beer with you, then you can sign the agreement. No, I'm joking. It's man, we like to attract like-minded people. Currently, the model I used to own the Colcachos in Cavendish, and that model was like, you have to own 30%. And for them, and that company definitely works. For us, it's slightly different. We like what we call cluster franchisees. So we've got two groups of, well, we've got multiple franchisees, but we like franchisees to own more than one store. It's usually people with other franchises. We do find that a lot. Some of our franchisees own Rocamamas, they own Ocean Baskets, they own Vitellius, they own Spurs. So it's that kind of like-minded person, or someone from a financial background to say, listen, I love the ROI, but I can't go and make flat whites in the morning. I still have my fund to look after. Do you have a proper operator that I can give profit share to? Because I would like to do 4 stores. Then you can come and talk to me. Or listen, I just got into some money, or I'd like to. Can you help me with a loan? I've got 50% unencumbered cash. Can I go to any of our banks? They all kind of, because of FASA as well, we are pre-approved with the bank. So that makes it so easy to get a loan with your logo behind our name, that we can take someone and say, listen, if you want to start with 1 store, work it. We take it from start to finish. We go through rigorous training and all the checkpoints and stuff, so you will know how to operate a store from start to finish, from open to close, including the books and everything. So we do offer a turnkey operation. Yeah, turnkey is probably, I don't know, the right or the wrong word. We do everything for you. We don't put any markup on the building of the stores at all. We just feel that's not what we do. We don't. I know some companies do that, but we're very open with the books. If you sign up, you pay the bills, you pay the contractors. We do recommend them and make sure that the design is right, but you take care of everything to make sure also that there's no extra fat in it for us, because we want a sustainable company. We want to open a lot of stores. You're already buying the coffee from us, so there's already that basket. Our franchise fee is 5% of turnover, and 2% of goes to marketing. Currently, we're not charging 2%, we're charging 1% for marketing until the need arises to charge more. I'm not going to put up billboards and banners and go above the line now. So I don't need to spend, I don't need to get that money in because I'm not going to spend it. So it's I think, a good way of doing it currently.
Okay. And tell us, I would imagine that it would have to be a person who's outgoing, likes working with people, and that kind of personality type. Is that right?
Definitely. I mean, you can do all the psychometric tests in the world, and still, or you can just meet someone and say, listen, yeah, you can work, and or not. Is it a gut feel? Sure, it's a gut feel. Can you put it into a box? It's difficult. We also change. We change year on year. We have different personalities in different aspects of it. We've seen how people can rise to the occasion. During this pandemic, these quiet people that you don't really see much of, in this pandemic happens, and they come out as leaders. So we do change. So is it an outgoing person? Sure, but is it a person that can adapt? Is it a person that's lekker? Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. People do evolve. Yeah. We do evolve as creatures.
Yeah. So one thing that's crucial for us as well, that if we go into an area, we don't go open next to the local. If there's not a local and we want to be the local, we're a community-based brand. So we don't want to come and it's like, hey, check out, we're this big coffee company, we're going to take out the small guys, that's going to, not at all. If there's already an existing kind of offering like that, then we would stand back, or we'd go, listen, do you want to take this opportunity on? Because your community makes or breaks you. So we are a community-based and like to have the backing of the community. That's why we also don't really go for super regional malls. We like the strip malls. We like loan standing sites. I like to deal with owner of the properties instead of some big fund that you don't have a personality with, that doesn't have a personality.
I like that. I like that. So thank you to Eve and Monkey Nastic saying good morning to us. Thank you out there. And one of the things I wanted to ask you, what is the training opportunity? So do you train? What does that look like?
Yeah, so training, once again, you first look at the person. Our first franchisee came from a food background and restaurant background, and he trained within 3 weeks, because you have it's usually almost an 8-week, maybe a 10-week training course. If you would know nothing, then we'll take you from scratch. What is food cost? How to froth milk? How to pay your salaries. But if you know all of that already, then it could be a 3-week turnaround, just to say this is the way we do it. You already know how to work out all your costings and how to place orders and know the suppliers and that. So we really take it per subject, per person. Because I hate wasting time, and I hate wasting someone else's time. So it's like, if you're cool, let's go for it. If you need more help, then we hold that more until you're ready. We do in our boardroom here, we do food cost training every week. So if you feel like, listen, I need a little bit more training, can I please come? It's an ongoing thing. We do constant barista training. We do constant food cost training. So those are the important stuff. You can definitely put your hand up. We've got a great ops team that does scheduled store visits and unscheduled store visits. Then we've got a menu development team. Then we've got chefs on the roads. Like if you need help on a Saturday morning and one of you guys didn't pitch up, we quickly send people. So I think on a support level, we're very good at that.
That sounds great, because like you say, you don't like to waste people's times. And I've been in certain training sessions where I'm like, okay, well, I know this stuff already. You know what I mean? So yeah, I get that. So tell us, what is your brand's mission going forward? What does that look like?
One thing that I really like is sustainability. So sustainability in every single aspect of the field. So whether it's the right franchisees that we choose or a product that we choose to list, is it sustainable? Are you going to run out? And is it sustainable for the environment? It never, when I didn't own restaurants, it didn't matter if I had used a plastic straw or had an extra plastic bag or used a polystyrene thing because I was just one person. Now I can make decisions on thousands and hundreds of thousands of cups that go into the environment. So I make sure that it's biodegradable. I want my son to enjoy this earth as much as I do. So do sustainable stuff. Get Rainforest Alliance beans. Don't just go and it's more. It costs more for me to buy Rainforest Alliance beans that I can buy normal green beans for. But it is a sustainable thing. So firstly, I like to be sustainable as far as possible. The other pillar that we have, but I'm not sure if I could mention it, but one of the pillars that we have in our company is no bullshit. And that needs to transpire everywhere, from the way we deal with people and our staff. It's like there's no frills. It's like let's just get down to basics. Did it bother you that? What bothered you? Let's sort it out. Done. We don't have to do frills and we've got one burger called the No Frills Burger as well. So it's just basic, good quality, grass-fed beef. It's free-range eggs. It's the good stuff, man. We don't have to worry too much about, where can we cut costs. It's more expensive, sure. Put it on. I'm sure the customer will appreciate it, and it's sustainable.
Well, you know what? I like the sound of that, because we do need to start taking more care of our environment, become responsible human beings is what I would say. Let's go back to basics. Let's go back to community. Let's go back to learning how to adapt and do things differently. I think we've all been given this world and being told that this is the box that you must fit into, and that one size box doesn't fit all. So I'm all for let's be transparent with each other. If you're having a bad day, let people know that you're having a bad day or whatever, because it's all this pretend stuff that I think has gotten us into the mess that we find ourselves in today. So I love the sound of that. Sure, we're running out of time. I just want to remind everybody, so thank you again to Peter for joining us, and I want to remind everybody and just to mention that Monkey Nastics is saying brilliant, sustainability is key. And yes, and Space Nastics are made out of recycled materials. So thank you for letting us know that. So I just want to remind everybody that Peter and them have franchise opportunity with Bootleggers. If you're interested, we have posted a link in the comment box to this recording. And please get in touch with them and find out what they have to offer you and see what you can do if there's a synergy or not. And just to remind everybody that in closing, that FASA is a non-profit organization that lobbies, protects and promotes and develops ethical franchising across all sectors within South Africa, with specific focus on transformation. FASA offers membership to both existing franchisors and franchisees who are interested in running ethical businesses. If you want to know more about FASA, you can follow them and find out, or go to their website at www.fasa.co.za. And just before we close, I'm going to ask one last question over to Peter. What does it mean to be a FASA member for Bootleggers?
So can you just repeat that? You broke up a little bit. What does it mean for Bootlegger to be part of FASA?
Yes.
Okay. As I mentioned in the interview, it just gives you credibility. It's the roadmap to get to have a FASA badge next to your name was a hectic one. Thanks for that. It took us 8 months of hours and hours and hours and hours of work to get everything right. Your training manuals, your cleaning procedures. It was hectic. So if I see anyone with a FASA badge, I'm like, well done. I know exactly what you went through, and I know that your procedures are in place. So that to me is a wonderful thing. Yes, you get up that hill, but once you're on top of that hill, yes, now you can sprint down. And the banks, I mean, they're like, oh, FASA, sure, yeah, let's go for it. You get a loan. It's easy. So I would highly recommend anyone that's thinking of franchising to go with FASA. It's kind of the only way that we saw to grow. Yeah, so thank you for that.
No, and it's about association, and also, because you got your T's crossed and your I's dotted. So
Yeah, that's funny.
well, at least it prepares you for overseas, because I've also heard from other franchises who've gone overseas that our compliance is so strict that it's made that roadway so much easier for them to be able to launch overseas and do business overseas, because all the documents and compliance was in place.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much.
And thank you to you, Peter. Thank you for joining us. And thank you to everyone out there for joining us. Please remember to hit the like and share button if you know anyone who's interested in franchise opportunities and also maybe want to look at the Bootlegger franchise opportunity. So thank you, everyone. Have a super week forward, whatever it is you're doing.